How do you know when you've actually made it in sales ops? This is the Sales Ops Effect, where we strengthen our skills as strategic leaders to grow businesses with integrity. I don't think there is a top necessarily. It's very, very personal to you about what kind of companies that you want to work for, even the job title that you want or the salary, right? But I can tell you a couple of signs that I knew that I was being seen differently. And that I was a leader. It wasn't even becoming, because the becoming parts, I don't think I acknowledged it. I was in the becoming. But there's a few different occasions I've already shared in one episode about when a sales manager felt comfortable enough to open up to me with the fact that they didn't understand how to read graphs and charts. And that's all about trust. They're not coming to someone who they deem as lowly and saying, please help me. That would be a bit too far for a lot of people. People have egos, it happens. But he came to me as a direct peer to say, please help. And that was a really big deal for me. There was another moment as well where I was in a much larger organization at this point. There was roughly 220 salespeople globally, if you include the managers. And obviously, sales ops, you work cross-departmentally. And someone called me up because they sensed that there was a problem in the system. And so she asked if she could have a call. That was great. And then we were on the phone and she just starts talking. So she's really, really excited, right? And then partway through, she says, now I know I'm not supposed to come with problems. I'm supposed to come with solutions, but I really wanted to make sure I brought this to you. And I sat and thought to myself, I'm sorry, what? We're having a conversation. You're allowed to tell me that there's a problem. And then I remembered the old adage of, you don't talk to leadership and just moan at them. You come to them with solutions. You don't just tell them what the problem is. And I'm thinking, oh. Yeah, that's why she said it, because that's how I was presented to her. That's how she saw me. And that was a really particular period of time, because I was quite taken aback and quite honored. You know, looking back on it, I'd been leading for years and years and years, but I just didn't see it as that. And you know what? I didn't see it as that because the depictions of what a leader was didn't look like me. They didn't sound like me. They didn't come from the background that I've got. They weren't neurodivergent, or if they were neurodivergent, they were psychopaths. They just weren't me. So I don't think I realized that I was a leader because I didn't exhibit any of the qualities that I saw on television, that at the time I was reading in books. Because at that time in particular, you only really started seeing in books, it was only just starting to appear, the whole, you know, actually talking to people and, you know what, listening first and treating people like humans. It's only then that it's only when it started really to become a big deal. Whereas everything before was about being strong and making decisions and showing who's boss and all of that, blah, 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 blah. And I'm not that person. So there were a few other instances which, you know, amazingly has just escaped my mind. But you do get there. And it does take repositioning, because a lot of people start this role as being the fix-it person. You start this role as being somebody who knows how to do tech, because that's what people think sales ops is, and it isn't. People think that's what sales ops is right up until they realize that there's other gaps in the business that no one else can fill, and then it just goes to sales ops. That's like, oh, well, it's for you to deal with. And actually, yeah, it does sit in sales ops. We are part of the full funnel, the full process, the full system. But if we were given that respect in the beginning, how much easier would our jobs be if we didn't have to fight for it? So repositioning yourself as a leader isn't a nice to have. It's a must. If you want to have any longevity in this field, you have to reposition yourself. And that doesn't mean that if you're a CRM person, you have to become a sales operations leader. That doesn't mean if you're the project management person on your team that you have to become a leader. No, it just means that you have to display yourself differently. You have to present yourself differently. One of the things that we go through in the leadership skills course and community, the foundation of it is about integrity, direction, and presence. And if you go in as a little mousy person, then people will treat you as such. Some people might take pity on you or give you some kindness and help to grow you up, which is what some people did in my case. But a lot of people will just take advantage, which is what happened a lot in my case, until I had to build up my own boundaries. And I had to really recognize my worth. And I had to realize that I was being asked to do all of these things, not just because other people couldn't be bothered to, but because I'm the person with the skill set. And if I'm the person with the skill set, I'm the person with the brains, I'm the person that can do it faster than anybody else or better than anybody else, I'm the person with value. It's not saying that other people don't have value, but you have to get accustomed to recognizing what you bring to the table, what your value is. Because trust me, if you're here, there's so much more going on than you've even realized yet. There's so much more going on. And together with this movement, we can make sure that the businesses that we're growing are the ones that we'd all actually want to work for. We've all heard the horror stories about the kind of businesses that treat people like utter dirt. And quite frankly, those businesses need to die. But if we, with the power that we have, with the impact that sales operations has, can do what we can to grow the businesses, the 250 people, 200 people businesses, to instill those businesses with integrity, then they will grow to become the businesses that we want our friends and family to work for, that we'd want to work for. That's the movement. That's what we're doing here. I'm very glad you're here. If you have any comments about this, let me know, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time.